Hey guys, we're here. Sorry, the Googles isn't being very friendly tonight, but we got it working finally. So we're all good. Jesse, you okay? Jesse, can you hear me? Oh, you don't have your headphones on.
We're good.
You're okay?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, guys, give me 1 second here. Let me just start things up here, and then we will. There we go. Okay, and then we'll just take care of this. Is everybody ready to go here? Everybody okay?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I think we're ready to go. Chad, you okay?
Kind of.
You're kind of okay.
Ready for the show.
Okay, good. Well, that's all. That's all I care about, actually. So, as long as you-
Mental stability might not be there.
I have pushed the record on the Zoom. I do not have my iPad though. So hold on a second. Let me get my iPad. We got no music.
I've got both of mine. My third one's over there.
Mine's right behind him on the couch there.
iPad. What's an iPad?
I actually brought this one back out just for show notes.
Nice.
Yeah, I use my tablet,
There we go.
Android
Sorry,
tablet,
guys.
as to show the chat room.
Yeah.
What
Well, that's
I
what
need
I'm
is
using that's what I'm using my newest iPad for, is for the chat room.
what I need is a couple of monitors. I'm working off my laptop.
I have 3 monitors right now.
So this is definitely a mobile studio. After I've got another event on Friday. After that, all this gets torn back down
Oh no.
because there's no room in the bedroom.
All right, here we go, guys. Let's do this. Here we go. All right, listeners. Sorry it took so long. We are all set to go now, and here we go. 3, 2, 1.
You wanna know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is 8:30, which means that it is once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name's Scott Burks. We have Shorty Knits manning the phones, and please welcome to my virtual left, my co-host, Jazz427.
Howdy, y'all. Warning, GPSs everywhere are still working.
That's right. They're still working because tonight's episode is 558, recorded live on April 10th, 2019, and that is GPSr's changes with Mr. Limax.
Hello, everybody.
The phone lines are open, so give us a call, 808-468-7924. That is 808-GOT-SWAG. But first, dear Chad, sir,
Mm-hmm.
how you doing,
Yes,
sir?
sir.
We got to talk Patreon, buddy.
Oh yeah.
So we are creeping up on our 50th patron, Chad. We have one more today, marking our 48th patron. And get this, Chad, our 48th patron is Danielle. She's in I can't even say this. What is this? Ultewa, Tennessee. Did you ever hear of Ultewa, Tennessee?
Ottawa? No,
Have you
I
heard of
never
that?
heard of that.
No, Jesse.
Nope.
No.
No, you neither.
But I have to look now.
Why do you have to look?
So
I got to see where it is.
I've got to ask her or him how they pronounce. It's a her, okay. How they pronounce their caching name.
So this is the caching name. So hold on, before we do that, we've got Doug Jones Limax here with us. Thank you, Doug, so much for coming on the show tonight. We highly appreciate it, sir.
My pleasure.
Doug is the GPSr our GPS expert tonight for all the changes happening with the craziness going on with the satellites. Getting back, sorry, Doug, have you ever heard of Ultawa, Tennessee?
No, I haven't. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm going to guess it's near Chattanooga just because it's got a similar sort of name, but
Ultawa similar to Chattanooga?
It looks to be east of Chattanooga.
Ultawa. Yeah. I'm assuming you got two O's together. Ultawa.
Ultawa.
Yeah, and then her caching name, which I don't know how she writes this on a nano, is I literally can't even say it. It's O0RXKXROX0O.
It's that long, and it's one letter missing from being a palindrome. just need an O between that first R and X, and it would be a palindrome.
And is it driving you crazy that there's not?
Well, no, it'd have to
Yes.
be XOR.
Oh yeah. You're right.
So that is her caching name. God bless her heart. I don't even know how you say that, nor how she says it. I'm sure. I think she goes to like just to caching events and just puts Danielle on her name tag, because she can't put that on her name tag.
I wonder if it's pronounced Rocks Kicks Rocks.
Why would you think rocks kicks rocks?
The stuff at the other end, the O and the zeros, just kind of a border, so to speak.
Oh, and you have RX kicks
KX ROX.
Oh, look at
Ricks
you!
Kicks
God.
Rocks or Rocks Kicks Rocks or.
If not, I bet you it's going to be now. I bet you.
Oh, so Danielle, you need to call in and let us know how to pronounce your caching name.
Because I've seen a lot of caching names over the years. I've been doing this a long time, and that's one of the more peculiar ones I've ever seen. I got to admit.
I agree.
But yes, thank you so much. She became a patron of our show. We appreciate it so much. Thank you. She is number 48. I'm looking for the elusive 50. It's coming up soon. So please give us anything you can. Tier start as low as $3. That is patreon.com/the geocaching podcast. patreon.com/the geocaching podcast.
And tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more info at cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
Tonight's also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork are the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write in the Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who would rather go caching than do cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com.
Magazine. FTF Geocacher is the magazine for geocachers written by geocachers. Issue hints and tips, don't mess me up, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tells, and all things geo related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com. That's FTFGEOCACHER.com.
You were in and out that whole time, Chad, just so you know. Oh, yes, you were.
Was I?
We are also maybe while I'm doing this and then going into emails, why don't you pop in and pop out and pop back in again, maybe? And we're brought to you by the Max Suds Body Company. Max Suds Body Company makes handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Begone soap, itch spray, and 2-cent choices of bug spray are all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. At Max Suds Body, we have you covered from head to toe. And as a GCPC sponsor, special promotion from now until April 18th. I think that's like 2 more shows. Use the code BRINGONSPRING to get 10% off your first purchase. Find them at maxsudsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com. You can find links to all our sponsors, as always, in our show notes. Before Chad, you're back?
I'm back, but now it seems like you seem a little bit laggy on my end.
I'm laggy. Jesse, is Jesse laggy too? Jesse? I guess she's not. She's not talking to us. All right. Well, let's. So Doug, let's talk to Doug. Doug, how you doing, buddy?
All right, I'm doing fine, sir.
Yeah. How's your caching been going?
Well, it's gone. I mean, I don't cache as much as I used to right now. It's just the life situation has changed in such a way that caching doesn't happen except when we got the souvenir runs.
Right.
And so, yeah, so I've did quite a bit of caching the last couple of Fridays. You know, I got exactly 500 points, and now I'm done for a while.
Just getting the souvenirs. Is that what you're
Yeah,
doing?
just getting the souvenirs. It's I found, and this of course happened, you know, everybody remembers the infamous 31 days of August.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. I went ahead and got all 31 because I knew I'd regret it if I didn't.
Mhm.
I still regretted it, but in a different way.
You regret
But
getting
yeah,
all
when,
51?
when souvenirs like that come around, most of the time I go after them. Usually the Earth Cache souvenir I don't worry about, or the Cedo one, just because I just don't do them. But
Right. Yeah. See, the one which we don't know. We make a somewhat of an effort, but not a huge effort. The Earth Cats one we usually try and get, but Cedo isn't. If there's one close and we have the time,
right.
we do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one that will come out every year. I mean, it's these unique ones that I have a tendency to go for a little more.
Yeah, sure.
So
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We will
certainly.
be with you soon, sir. But feel free to comment on any of the things here that we have to comment on.
All right.
In the meantime, we've got some emails, Chad. We've got some emails.
Mhm.
Find the.
I got mail! Yay! I got mail! Yay!
Hey, all right, Chad. First one up. You ready for this one?
Sure.
There we go. All right. This is from Acme Wildcashers, who is he's a patron of the show. Thank you so much, sir. It says, I didn't hear you guys mention my biggest pet peeve on your What Irks You show. I generally agree with Jesse's philosophy of not getting too worked up over people who play the game differently than I do. Most of the actions I don't agree with have little impact on me or other cashers. So I just grumble a bit and move on. But one thing I can't let go of is a throwdown. I'm talking about a cashier who would rather drop a new container than take a DNF. With the exception of power trails, where the practice is generally accepted, throwdowns often do not match the style of the original hide, and that does directly affect the experience of future hiders. Sometimes it takes a really unique cache and turns it into something boring and mundane. I've also seen plenty of instances where the original was still present and now there's an extra container for no reason. And if the CO isn't active, replacing the container only prolongs the life of a neglected cache while blocking the area for a potentially better hide. I'm for all reasonable cache maintenance, but I draw the line at replacing containers unless I have explicit permission from the CO. Keep up the good work. I've got just 1 week of bowling left, so hopefully I'll be able to call in a bit more often after that. From Carson, Acme Wildcashers. Yeah, I agree with that for the most part. The only thing I would add to that is when I see, and I'm guilty of this, you come up on a totally just a lamb skirt hide. It's a 1.5, 1.5. The hint is like lift the skirt, and you know what it is. Some of those when those go missing, I have no problem replacing those. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, pretty much agreed.
Yeah, I actually do.
Yeah, I'm surprised that none of us had it in our list there.
None of us what?
I'm going to go reboot my router.
What'd you say, Doug?
What I was saying is, I usually do try to get explicit permission from the CO before I do replace one. I have replaced a few for people that I know were supposed to be there. The one thing I usually don't get explicit permission for is replacing a log. Now, if there's room to keep the old log in there, I do that, or else I take it with me. I contact the CO just on the off chance they want to keep the log, because I've run into that every once in a while.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, I've if I know the guy, usually I know I've had caches who've caused missing, especially parking grabs, where I'll give them a call and they'll like, yeah, just drop something, absolutely. But if it's somebody I don't know, I'm far from home and it is lit in a parking lot, this is the cache. It is a right there park and grab. It is a skirt. Yeah, I think it will. Somebody's gonna do it. It's to me. My theory is, I have skirts out there. I'm not gonna lie, and my theory is, you should never DNF lamp skirt. Nobody should ever DNF a lamp. That's not what it's for. If it's gone, replace the thing. And I say that in my skirt hides. If it's not there, replace it. Go for it. It's a skirt hide. It's either there or it's not. It's not like this big secret. It's a 1.5, 1.5. So, that's my theory anyway. Next up is from TG. Guys, we got a lot of email here, by the way. This is good. Thank you all for writing in. We love when you guys write in, but everybody wrote in at once here. So we got a lot of emails here. So this next one is from Team G Winchester. He says, WV Tim is not only releasing a geo trail, but it is the first geo tour in the area. I heard it was coming, but the event was just published. I hope to be there. Just wanted to pass along. We will have a new Geo tour, Berkeley County, West Virginia, and WV Tim will be kicking off a new Geo tour kickoff event below. The event is GC84M1N. That is obviously in West Virginia, I'm assuming. Jess, you have any idea what that is?
Berkeley County
Where's Berkeley County?
in West Virginia.
I never think.
That's the county that WV Tim lives in, if I remember correctly.
Jesse, do you know where that is?
I know I've driven through it. I have family in northern West
Yeah,
Virginia.
I know. You have family in West Virginia. That's why I'm
Right.
asking that question.
Isn't it like northeastern, really close to Maryland?
Jesse,
I'm going to ask the Google it.
you're gonna if Northeastern is close to Maryland.
No, if Berkeley is. But,
I'll say I know where Berkeley is out here, but
What does it? Okay.
right.
Mom,
anyway,
I'm gonna keep going. Thank you, Team G Winchester, for that information. If anybody's interested, GC84M1N. Again, it's in the show notes. If you want to go do the Berkeley County, West Virginia Geo Tour.
it is actually. It's up in near Hagerstown, Maryland. So real close to Maryland, near Frederick.
Frederick?
Mhm.
Oh,
Frederick,
okay.
Maryland.
Okay. Next email. Chaz, Jesse, and Scott. First of all, thank you for all the work you've done over the years to keep us informed and entertained. Scott, I have listened to you since episode 3 of the Chicago Geocacher podcast, and I am still hooked. Lord, that is a long time ago. Episode 3 of the Chicago Geocacher podcast. That's like 2010 is what that is.
That was long before me,
That's
even.
long before Jesse. I forgot. That's when I did not have gray hair, is what it is. I am at best a fair weather geocacher. He says a whopping 148 finds in 11 years. Wow. But I do love geocaching, and I do it when I'm able. I am considering, this is where we go, guys. I am considering a front porch cache on my home. This is why a couple of weeks ago, guys, we talked about the front porch cache debate. Probably a gadget cache, but I have a unique issue with how to post the cache. This is my home. Now I got to show you guys a picture of his home here. So I have to pull up a picture of the home. So everybody who was watching the show tonight can actually see what I am talking about here. Let me share my screen here. Okay, share it. And can you see my screen there?
holy cow.
Tiny
That's
home.
his house. That is his house. So he wants to put a front porch cache on his house. Okay.
For people who are not watching, it is a tiny house.
Yes, thank you, Jesse. For the people who, like me, listen while you actually do this instead of actually watch the show.
And
It
it's
actually reminds me of a train caboose.
Yeah, I think it is a train caboose. That's what I think is what it is. So he's got this tiny little house. It's literally a
solar
tiny house.
panels.
Yeah. He says, and no, this is not a joke. This is really my home, he continues. I think I'll hang the gadget cache from the pink arm that sticks out from the front and put a bench below it so geocachers can sit and figure out the cache in comfort and also not have to see me watching TV in my underwear, which we all appreciate.
Okay.
This isn't a nudie cache. It's a it's a front porch cache. But this is not an issue I'm concerned about. My issue is that my house is mobile. Obviously, it's on wheels. It doesn't move every day. Most of the time, it's parked in Crystal Lake, Illinois, which is Jesse's hometown, ladies. and
Where I'm from.
that is her hometown, Crystal Lake, Illinois. But it does move. And as far as I know, there is in no way to have a mobile front yard cache unless your house is the International Space Station. And in a couple of years, I intend to keep traveling for a while. So the solution that's best for now won't always be the right one. What do you suggest? And that is Aaron Carlson. Thank you, Aaron, first for writing in. Thank you for listening all these many, many years. It's a really nice house you got there. I'd love to come visit it if you'd like. Me and Jesse would love to come see this house of yours in Jesse's hometown, which is probably what, half an hour away from here, Jess? Maybe 40 minutes
From
away?
here, it's probably close to an hour. There's not a direct way to get there.
Oh, it's not an hour. But what should you do, guys? What do you recommend? Chad, did you see the house? You saw it, right?
I saw the house. Yeah. I would actually put a post at the back part of the house, that you can place the cache there for when you're not there. That way the coordinates can remain the same. The cache can remain there even if your house isn't there.
Oh, see. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying don't put it on the house. Put it on something behind the house.
No, you can hang it on the house while the house is there.
Oh, but he's saying, what do you do when it's mobile? Then what? It can't be immobile. How about, here's an idea.
It doesn't necessarily have to be hanging on that corbel 100% of the time, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he just takes it off that, puts it on the pole when he's about to leave.
Right.
Sticks the bench underneath it over there.
How's this for an idea? Okay, Aaron, how's this for an idea? You put the cache near the house, like in a tree or in a bush or whatnot. Then when you're mobile, what you do is you make the house trackable. So when you're moving around, people can still track your house if that's what you want. But actually, put a TB actually on the house or near the house or something on the house. What do you think of that idea? I don't know.
Both.
Jesse, what do you think?
Yeah, both. I think the house should be trackable. And I like the idea of having something more permanent at the location, maybe because it was on like a concrete pad or something. So maybe you could somehow attach something to or near that concrete pad that would stay there permanently.
Right.
Maybe try to blend in a little bit that would stay there when the house goes. And then, yeah, I like the idea of having a trackable house.
That'd be kind of cool, right?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but you're assuming he's not renting too. We're assuming he's not renting that pad. We're assuming he owns.
True.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe a park near. But if he doesn't intend to come back, then it's irrelevant. Then it's just make the house trackable. Yeah, that's tough because they don't allow moving caches anymore.
Nope.
Nor do they allow temporary caches. So if you know that you're only going to be there a few months, they may not. That may not fly.
So does that make a house a park and grab?
No, it wouldn't be a park and grab. No, definitely not a park and grab. You'd eventually get caught, even if you had a moving one. You could just have it in your house and just have. Eventually, you're going to get caught, and they're going to archive the cache. So yeah, house trackable, and maybe I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know what to do about that. Or just I see somebody in the chat room said every time the house moves, establish a new geocache. I mean, you could do that. What's this? Somebody says just move the cache 0.1 mile at a time and update the cords. Right? Yeah, you could do that. So Aaron, I hope that's some good ideas. That's a pickle. Awesome house, dude. Jesse and I would love to come visit you.
Absolutely.
I'd love to see the inside of that house.
I always like the excuse to get back to my hometown.
And eat those donuts. What are those donuts we like so much?
Country donuts.
Country donuts. Yes, they're delicious. All right. Next up, hi Scott, Chad. Hi Scott, Jesse, and Chad. How are you doing on your cash carnival promotion? Just like Chad, I got points without doing anything. I'm unusually waiting to the last moment to work on mine. I'm getting all the points in the last weekend of the promotion. So far, I've earned 100 points from favorite points on my hides. I don't think I've earned any points on favorite points on my hides. None.
I don't think so. I don't think I have either.
Not a one. As a geocache hider, you'll get notifications for everything, finds, DNFs, notes, etc., including when you or a reviewer make changes. Notifications when you disable, enable an archive, for example. So I find it weird that you don't get notifications when your geocache earns favorite points. Actually,
yeah,
it does. Jesse, how does it earn favorite? How do you find that out?
How do you find? I was looking at my score. What do you find?
Oh, never mind. I'll keep going then. You're not paying attention.
If somebody gives you a favorite point on your cache that you own, you earn 25 points.
Thank you. That's not what I'm asking you.
Oh,
Chad, he's listening to me. Chad, how do they know?
I didn't know. I don't believe I get any notifications if someone favorites my cache.
That's right. You do not. The only way you do, thank you, chat room, for listening to the show. The Project GC, if you are a Project GC member, you get notified.
If you have to be a premium member and you have to sign up for those notifications, you can get notified of favorite points being added, favorite points being removed, or photos being added to your logs or modified logs.
Right. So I find it
Okay.
okay. So until this favorite points based promotion, I never noticed it. No, you never noticed it. I understood how this promotions scoring worked. I just assumed that because I hadn't gotten a notification about my hides getting favorite points, that I hadn't earned any points yet. Have any of you noticed this notification anomaly before? Do you have any thoughts on this? Yes. Project GC. I think it's like how much, Jesse? How much is it a year? Do you have any idea? You're a member, aren't you? Or you were a member?
Yeah, actually, my subscription just ran out, so I do need to renew it.
What is it?
It's not that expensive. I mean, maybe less than $40.
Oh, okay. For a
It's
year.
like either 15 or 20. I can't remember. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
a premium member too. So
I don't remember.
Yeah, there you go.
Not much.
So, and this is from thank you for your awesome show. Thank you. And this is Paula, Curiosity Girl, also a patron. So thank you so much, Paula. Yeah, like we said, if you become a premium member of Project GC and you sign up for this, you will get when somebody leaves one, when someone takes one away, all that kind of good stuff. You can get.
Yeah.
I remember Jessie walking in a room once and mumbling under her breath about somebody taking away a favorite point. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, somebody took away a favorite point from one of my caches, and it was like, wasn't it archived too? That cache?
No, that was the weird thing. It wasn't archived, and it was years later. I couldn't figure out why. They must have needed it for something better.
Right. So she's frustrated that somebody's taking away a favorite
I
point.
wasn't frustrated. I was confused.
Yes. So,
Yeah, I'm occasionally a premium member of Project GC for about a year at a time, and then I wind up letting it lapse because it's like I don't have the need right then. But then 6 months, a year later, I have the need to use it, and it's like I get back in there.
yeah, that's how.
But as far as points, right now I'm sitting on 490 points. I DNF 2 potential 50 pointers over the weekend. So I would have been done with my plan for the past weekend if I didn't have 2 DNFs.
You actually DNF 2 DNF. You had 2 DNFs.
I had 2 DNFs on caches that had over 50 favorite points each.
That's brutal, dude. That's brutal.
I'm disappointed.
All right, one more email. I'm going to get to the show. Sorry, guys. One more email. The caching, this is from Gary. Caching name is the GB''S. He says, I know this is dated. This is actually from a couple weeks ago. He's talking again about the front yard cache. Man, this is a topic, man. I'm telling you, everybody's got a say in this.
I did this cache last weekend,
I know
by
you
the way.
did. So he says this was my first hide, and since I really didn't know much about cache hiding, why not one in my own front yard? The cache is GC35VVR, and it's called Snoopy's Watching. It has 38 favorite points and has never been muggled. It is actually fun to watch the cachers search, even though the hint says right where the container is. And I got a picture of it here for you, Chad.
Yep.
Right here. Let me set up my screen share again. Let's set it up. Share it. There we go. Put that right in the middle right there. Can you guys see that? Everybody, can you see Snoopy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I can see him.
That's adorable. Look at that. That's a great cache, man. Chad, you've actually done this one.
I did this one. I took a snapshot of Corporal Chad and Scott sitting on top of Snoopy this past weekend.
Oh, so you literally just did this cache.
I literally just did this one.
Oh, so this one's near us then?
It's in Sacramento area.
Okay, I'll have to swing up there and get it. I saw there was some up in Woodland. Is it Woodland or Woodside that's up your direction?
It's
Woodland, I think.
Woodland, yeah.
Yeah, that I need to go find up there. So
Yeah, there's a lot of good caches in Woodland.
Yeah, you guys, you want this one. This one's got 38 favorite points, man. Come on.
I forgot to add a favorite point on it. It's got 39 now.
Chad, shame. Shame, Chad. Doesn't add a favorite point. So yeah, that's a nice cache. I thought it was funny that Chad actually just found that cache. Makes me laugh. And that is the email, guys. Thank you so much for emailing us. We love to hear from you guys. We appreciate it very much. And now finally we can get into the topic at hand. Limax, thank you so much for being patiently waiting. The topic tonight is GPSR changes with Limax. First of all, Limax, why don't you tell us about yourself? Tell us why I should consider you an expert in this field.
I think the reason you should consider me an expert is because Daryl told you I was.
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah, he did. He said,
I mean, I know where you got the advice from.
Tell me why I called you.
Okay. Well, I'm a systems engineer and I work for a defense contractor, and my day job is actually keeping satellites up in the air.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
So
I
you
work
were cool.
sustainment and
Okay, so you're the guy to talk to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to the right place. Okay. And so, do you enjoy that?
no. No, it's definitely not one of my favorite jobs. Seriously, if I had my druthers, I'd be back doing software test.
Really?
Yeah, I love breaking things.
Oh, there you go. Well, don't break the satellites, please.
No, they won't let me.
Okay, so why don't you, in a nutshell, tell me what happened? It happened April 6th, I think. Was that the date?
I think so. It was April 6th is when it's supposed to when it occurred. Yeah, it's just here recently. And basically, I mean, it's similar to what we went through during Y2K, where we ran out of digits and everything rolled back to zero on us.
Uh-huh.
And some of the older GPS units will not be able to handle that, since it's been so many years since the last time it occurred.
Really?
I mean, this is the second time this rollover has occurred.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When was the first one? Do you know?
August of 1999.
Yeah.
Look at you, Chad. Look at you.
That's back before I even owned a GPSR.
No, and me. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was
My
answering
father-
questions on Quora about this, so that's why it's off the top of my head.
Yeah. Now, see, my father owned a GPSR at that time, but he was a pilot. So he had one of the old Garmin navs in his aircraft, and I know I helped him update that thing with the new version of the software in, I want to say 2003 or 2004. So it was still working at that point, even though it was quite an old unit at that point.
Huh. So, in the notes here, I have what the problem stems from the fact that GPS signals include a timestamp, and part of the timestamp is a weak number stored as 10 binary bits.
Mm-hmm.
10 bits allows it to store 1,024 weeks before it resets, which means the reset happens after roughly 20 years. On April 6th, if that reset happens, potentially causing GPS devices around the world to stop working. The good news is existing GPS devices can be patched to avoid this being a problem. However, a patch being available depends on how old your device is and how reliable the company who sold it to you is for issuing software updates. If your device isn't patched, then it will revert to an earlier period of time and GPS positioning will most likely fail. But will it actually fail? If you don't patch your GPS, Doug, what will happen? Is it just the time that's going to get screwed up? That's it, right? I mean,
it should just be the time that's screwed up. And also
Right.
what would actually look in is, the almanac that each GPSR has in it says, at this specific time, these satellite numbers should be overhead. Remember the GPS constellation is, I want to say it's about, if I remember correctly, it's about 20 satellites. That's not something I really keep off the top of my head.
Sure. Yeah.
And so you're going to have, 6 to 7 in view at all times. Well, the almanac says on this week, these are the ones that should be in view during this time. So it could have a little bit of trouble finding the right ones it's looking for also.
Right. Interesting. So really, wait. So you're telling me? Hold on. So you're telling me that our almanac will tell us what satellites we should be able in view of what we can see?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Date? Really? That's amazing. Really?
yeah. That's something that I use the app GPS Status I download the almanac, especially when I'm going overseas or something, and I'm going to be completely offline, so that it gets a quick sync when I'm there without getting a GPS data from local towers.
Really?
Right.
Interesting. Jess, you ever hear of any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that there were different satellites that would be what's sending you your signal at different times.
Well,
They move and we move.
Right. But
yeah, it has to know where they're at. Otherwise, it can't figure out where you're at with the delta difference in the timestamps.
Right.
You go back and you look at the first GPS unit I used, which was the Magellan 310. And we're not talking the Explorers 310. We're talking the original Magellan 310, the one with the funky fixed antenna on it. I bought that off of eBay as a non-working unit. Turns out it just needed a system reset, and Magellan was happy to provide that for me. And it needed the system reset because the almanac was so screwed up, it couldn't figure out what the date or the time was or what satellites were overhead. Once you did that, it was able to do a resync with the satellites to say, okay, well, here's where I am now. So.
And part of the information, the almanac also provides the frequencies that all the satellites are transmitting at. So you might get locked on one, and it might take you a while to get that almanac data down there. But once you got that almanac data down, it knows what the frequencies are and where the other satellites that you should be able to see in your area, and it will search out to attempt to lock on to those specifically.
Right.
Interesting. Who will be affected, Limax?
Well, hopefully not very many. Most of the units these days, I'm hoping even this one here will still work. This is my old standby. That's a Magellan Explorers 510. I like this thing, unlike the doorstop. But I would think that most people these days have modern enough equipment. I'm suspecting if my Magellan 310 quit working quite a while ago, but I'm suspecting it will no longer work. The Garmin GPS 12 that I used for years, it probably will no longer work either. I have no way of testing it because I loaned it to somebody and never got it back.
Oh no!
So.
What about the Garmin CSX 60 CXS?
The CSX, I haven't heard anything one way or the other on that.
Because I bought mine in 2009, and supposedly here in my notes I've got any GPS device manufactured after 2010 should be fine as long as it conforms to the ICD GPS 200 specification. Thankfully, we won't have to face this problem again, as modern GPS navigation systems, including CNAV and MNAV, use a 13-bit weak number, meaning a reset won't be required before we don't care about GPS anymore. For now, there are some old GPS devices you still rely on. Check to see if they can be patched and whether a patch has been released. If one hasn't and the manufacturer is remaining silent on the subject, don't be surprised if your device starts acting strangely in April. Now here's a funny story. I was actually cleaning out my caching bag just the other day. It was a beautiful 70-degree day the other day, and I took out my caching bag onto the grass and was, taking everything out and getting it ready for summer and shaking it out. And I actually found my GPS. It was it was an Oregon 450. I haven't turned that sucker on in years. I love that thing, but it's just, with the way phones are today, it's not really needed anymore unless you're going deep into the woods,
Right.
And so it's in my bag, and I have not turned it on legitimately 2 years. 2 years easy. Jesse, do you remember the last time I even used that?
No.
Remember last time? And so I'm like, oh, shits and giggles. Turned it on, boom, booted right up.
Yep.
Booted right up, found satellites, no problem. I was like, oh, this is what I love about these things. Is that just sitting in the bottom of my bag for 2 years, boots right up.
Yeah, I had to do a sanity check. I got an Oregon 450 that's been sitting in the bag, and a Oregon 600 that one I actually use now still, but booted up, no problem, as I expected.
Yeah. Hey, Limax, I got a question here. It says, what is your experience with the Garmin 64 ST? I haven't had... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, other Scott.
He also says, I haven't had any issues. I also have a yellow E-Trex, a 60 CSX, and an Oregon 450T.
The Oregon 450T should be fine because you guys got. The 64 ST should not have a problem. I'm trying to, that one actually, that the 64 ST was what manufactured, I want to say 2015, 2014, 2015, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I know it was a few years after I started geocaching, which was in 2010. So
Yeah.
it had to be somewhere. It should definitely conform to the modern standards.
Right, and they just released the 66 ST within the past 2 or 3 months. I think they're finally available.
So anyone in the chat room have any GPSs that they've tried since this weekend that haven't worked?
Yeah, I'd be curious. Yeah, if or give us a call. Either way,
Yeah.
If it hasn't worked, give me a call. I really want to talk to you. But,
just for grins, right now, I just pulled out my old Etrex Legend because it's the only one that I have. I have a couple here, and I can't get any of the others to turn on. I just don't use them. Doesn't matter. But I have an Etrex Legend that I just pulled out and tried to turn it on, and it can't find the satellites. So I went to the time, and it says that it's April 20th, 2013 at 10:50 in the morning.
Yeah, so it hasn't synced up to the satellite, and it's got an old timestamp in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not a off by weeks type of thing, because it should say August of 1999.
Right.
If it for the rollover.
I haven't turned this on in years. So.
Let it sit for a second. See if it acquires satellites.
Yeah, I'm
Throw it outside. Throw it on the porch.
You got a window?
Yeah, throw it on the porch.
Yeah, I'll go put it on the porch.
We saw
I
somebody.
haven't turned on my Magellan in a while. Batteries on it are dead.
Let's see. Someone says, I saw something on Facebook that someone is having trouble with a Colorado. Have you heard any issues with Colorados?
Let's see.
When did they start making those?
What'd you say?
I was wondering when they started making those.
A Colorado?
I've got 08 stuck in my head, but I don't know if that's right or not.
Let's see. Google is your friend.
Jesse's out putting the GPS on the porch to see if it turns on. I wonder if my CSX would. I don't even know where it is, or I turn it on. I couldn't even tell you where it is. But I have a Garmin CSX, 60 CSX somewhere. Well, the person talked to Garmin, and they will be working on it. Wait, Jesse, take it outside. You can get satellites. You cannot get satellites inside. Yes. The chairman said you get it outside.
The window. I was hoping it would.
You put it by the window?
No, I said I am close to a window. I was hoping. I just went out and put it on the porch. So remind me in a few minutes.
Don't forget to go.
Okay, so
yeah,
here,
looks
according
like
to Wikipedia, they started making the Colorado 300 in about 2008 first quarter.
Yep.
Jesse, where's my 60?
That's what I was gonna.
No,
I have no idea where. Do we keep it? Might have gotten rid of it
I don't know.
because nobody used it. It was just sitting in a drawer. Felt bad. It was a good. That was my favorite GPS. I think. Well, no, I'm lying. The 450 is my favorite, but the CSX was amazing for what it was. It was just an amazing GPS. But then the Garmin 450 came out, and that just blew it out of the water. But I think that's the last good one, isn't it? I mean, are the Oregons, the 600 is not good, right? Isn't that one correct?
No, I love the 600.
The
I
600
love the 600 because it's specifically, effectively, it's infinite number of cache storage, or whatever your memory size is the only limitation there, and it is the screen's more like a touch screen of a smartphone, so it's a lot more sensitive than the 450s, which were garbage.
What about the 450 had to push really hard.
And you can have it in bright sunlight. It looks like you're reading paper.
Yeah, see that. Also, the 450 in sunlight, it was useless too.
Exactly. So the two things that I hated most about the 450, the 600 completely took care of.
What is it like? As waterproof as the 450 and all that?
Yeah.
450 was a rock, man. You know, it was the kind of thing you could throw it on the ground and it still just picked it right up. Is the 600 still like that? It's not like fragile.
It could potentially crack the screen if you dropped it on rocks.
Really?
Beyond that, I've dropped it on rocks and it didn't crack the screen. See, I'm just saying it could potentially.
It would scratch, maybe.
But No, it's been a very solid GPS unit for me.
Really? Well, here Andrew in the chat room says I have an Oregon 750 and it's great. 750, Chad.
Yeah, the 750 adds a Wi-Fi feature, so
Wi-Fi feature
and Bluetooth communication.
Of course it does. Yes. Why?
Yes, it
Does it make
does.
phone calls too? Let me guess. It makes phone calls.
It doesn't make phone calls.
No. Can't call the president from it. No.
Can't do a phone a friend.
Yeah, I can't phone a friend directly from my GPS.
No, you got to use that other GPS called a smartphone.
Right? Yes. Yeah, Andrew
So,
says,
but
barely
you know,
uses the Wi-Fi. Yeah, you got to pay for it.
it's if I were buying one today, I would go for one in the 700 series, but it's not that difference in improvement isn't worth me buying a new one. Now, I might look in a pawn shop to see if I can get one cheap.
Right.
See, I bought my 750 just because I could hold more caches on it than I could with the Magellan.
Right.
That was the wrong reason to buy it.
But why? Why is that?
Why?
Well, I seriously, the user interface leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. It is clunky. It is not intuitive. Okay, say you go and you find a cache. You say to go to the next nearest cache. It says, great. You're going towards the next nearest cache. Doesn't matter if it's behind you, in front of you, if it's a mystery, whatever. Whereas with my Magellan, I say go to the next nearest cache. It says, great, here's a list. Which one do you want to go for?
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the 750 reminds me a lot of Apple. They say, we are going to tell you how you're going to do things.
Right. I like that.
I will, I'll definitely agree with there's some amount of clinkiness, and I got to the point where I would just go back out to the map and select
Find
the next one.
Right. Well, yeah, so would I. I usually never went next cache unless I was doing a series because hey, maybe I want to go this way instead of that way. Maybe I want to go the extra 0.1 to get to this one because I'm doing it. I want to go my order, not their order.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wanting to do, and being used to the way the Magellan did things, I was expecting Garmin to do the same. That's my mistake.
Right. I've never, I've always owned Garmin's. I've seen Magellans. I've played with the Magellan, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. So I've always used Garmin's.
Yeah, I know, to each their own. I mean, I've owned
absolutely.
Yeah, I've owned 3 Magellans and I've owned 2 Garmin's. So, and yeah, 1 Magellan. Yeah, Scott, I remember you telling a story years ago about leaving a GPS at a cache.
I did on an island. On an island.
Oh, was it on an island?
I left it on an island.
Yeah, I left mine next to a cache, and of course it was gone.
Of course it was gone.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, I legit left one on an island, and I realized it after we were giving the canoe back. Is what happened. So we had to get the canoe back and then go back to the island to go get my GPS. Yes. So let's go back to this issue. What's going to break? Limax, what's going to break?
Well, hopefully, like I said, hopefully not too much. They've done a pretty good job of actually informing the public and say, okay, you're going to look at some of the older GPSs. Like I just looked at the manufacturer data of my old Garmin GPS 12. It was manufactured in 1997.
Wow.
So it would break because there will not be a software update for that, for sure. But it's just basically the older units that would. Smartphones are going to be able to handle that no problem. In fact, they already have.
Right.
I know, let's see, the Garmin Nuvi I've got in my car handled it just fine because I realized I was able to get to work this morning.
must have worked.
Obviously must have worked.
And it wasn't telling you it was 1990s. So.
Right, exactly. I think if it told me it was 1990s, it probably would have reverted back to its original components.
Right. You're like, it's not the 90s. I have gray hair. I didn't have gray hair in the 90s. Jesse, did you go and check on your GPS?
No, actually, I got the other one to turn on, so I put that one outside too.
Well, go check real quick.
I'll be curious to see. Okay.
Go check.
Yeah.
Go check. So
I'm assuming that my Explorist will still work. And unfortunately, I didn't check the batteries before I got in here, and so I can't check it.
well, FF Skippy says I did start up earlier tonight, and it's his Colorado is working. So the Colorado seems to be working just fine.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. Where was I saw another one. Here we go. Both the 64 ST and the 60 CSX work fine. Says Goblin 2004 in the chat room.
And let's see. If Skippy talks about his map 78, I don't
know what a map 78 is. What is that? I don't even know.
Trying to think what that might be. The GPS map 78, was that might have been one of the old Garmin ones.
Jess, hold on, Jess, before you give us your answer here, I'm going to say what's going to break in my notes for GPS devices that are affected after the rollover occurs. An incorrect date and time will be displayed. This incorrect time will also be used to timestamp, track logs, compute sunrise and sunset, and other functions that rely upon the correct date and time. However, the positioning accuracy will not be affected. The device will continue to deliver the same positioning performance as before the rollover. So there's a key there. The positioning accuracy will not be affected.
So the map 78 is the latest. It's the latest of the map line from Garmin, and it was manufactured 2010. That's still showing as current. So,
well, 2010 should be okay.
Yeah.
Jesse, what about your eTrex? How's that working?
All right, so I have a Magellan Explorers GC.
Yes.
That one I have 9 satellites locked in. Seems to be just fine.
Excellent. That's one I left at the cache.
Oh. And the eTrex cannot load a single satellite.
The eTrex can. Well, the eTrex is old. That's really old.
eTrex is very old.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised. It's just not working.
This is the
blue eTrex Legend.
Okay, the Legend.
That's like 2004,
2001, 2002, somewhere in there. It looks like.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so old that you can't you have to manually enter your waypoints. So the first 50 caches that I found, I manually north 42 manually had to put them in with a little toggle button.
Oh, with a toggle no less too.
Yeah, my Magellan 310 was the same way, and I had to do the same thing. Found my first 10 caches with that, and the Magellan 310 had only 2 digits of accuracy too. So yeah, it was a fixed screen.
Wow.
It wasn't with LCD screens. It had 7-segment displays everywhere.
Oh wait, I just went back to the satellites on this. Now I have 5. But that's it. It's still not enough to pull a location.
Really?
It still doesn't.
It needs 4 to pull a location.
Should be able to
know where I am. It says it's connected to 4 satellites, but I have no location. Is still lines. It's not showing.
Goblin 2004 says the Garmin Yellow eTrex works good and only tracks 4 satellites.
Yeah. 4 satellites is what you need minimum to be able to get an accurate reading.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there you go.
Unless you have an eTrex Legend.
No comment.
Basically, Limax, we're okay.
I would say basically we're okay.
I'd say probably 98%, even 99% of the geocachers out there who actually use a GPS on a regular basis to cache, they're using something made in the last 9 years. Which
right. And if you're not, it's a good opportunity to upgrade.
Upgrade to the one company that is still making them.
We know that you love your 15-year-old Garmin, but come on, it's time to get to the 21st century. And I don't know. I mean, I unfortunately, I loved them when I used them, but now with the phone, it's just so easy with the phone now. It's just it makes it so. I know, Chad, you still use one, don't you? You still use one.
Yeah, especially if I'm out on trails or going to be a long day of caching, then I'll use my handheld.
Yeah.
The one time that I prefer to use a GPS over a phone lately is on a bike trail. it's much easier with the GPS, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've got a mount for my bike, so when I'm out there on the bike, and a lot easier than trying to ride a bike and hold up your GPS unit.
Or your phone, for that matter.
Right.
I'm not putting my phone on a bike mount. That's too expensive.
To put a phone on a bike mount?
Yeah.
Why? It's not
If
gonna
it falls
fall
off, you mean?
That pops off and crashes. That's a expensive repair bill.
Well, so is the GPS.
It locks in. So with the Garmin, with that snap lock,
Yeah.
that thing isn't coming off.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, man, fair enough. All right.
The mount that I have my phone on the bike actually has a strap that
Yeah,
goes
well,
across the front.
Yeah, mine actually does that. Mine on my
It's
bike.
locked in.
The strap that literally locks the phone. It's a strap that like clips on at the back, so your phone ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Nowhere. The only thing is you got these two annoying stripes things like right in front of your screen. So you gotta put the cache like right here in the screen, like right there, so like you can see it.
Yeah, I'll stick with my GPS.
Yeah. So will I. Although Dig Family says that the phone's the way to go.
The
No.
phone is the way to go. And you know what? 98.99% of the time I'm using my phone these days. I had a GPS for years.
Yeah.
I used one. You know?
I am too, and it's only when I get the opportunity to go out hiking that where I'm going to be away from cell signals that I will actually use the GPS.
Right. Sure.
And that's also the reason why I actually got an InReach for Christmas too.
Really?
So that I've got that to go with me as well.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, it is 9:30. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Limax, anything else, sir, before we sign off? Anything else we need to know or you would like to tell us about what's going on here with the
No, I think we've pretty much covered it. I mean, thankfully it turned out to be about as much of a non-issue as Y2K was.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh man, I don't even remember that.
I was working financial software at the time. I remember it.
It's funny. I was updating computers. My job in 1999, August 99. I was updating Dells to Y2K. I was going to companies and updating with a CD-ROM. No, was it? Yeah, a CD-ROM, and putting it on all the computers one by one by one by the patch one by one by one.
Right, but the thing is, the Air Force did inform us that this was going to happen. And so, we were prepared. And for the most part, most of us have modern GPSs these days.
Sure.
Or we're using our phones.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right, yes. But isn't the phone a modern GPS, more or less, kind of, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, that's it. I mean, of all of the GPSs, the phone's actually the easiest to modify.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I'm happy it was a non-issue. I'd rather it be a non-issue than a huge issue,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, if we suddenly saw a bunch of planes falling out of the sky and the Dow crashed, then we know that something did go wrong with the GPSs.
I guess the worst part about it is some people who are absolutely in love with their older GPSs are kind of screwed.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing that happened,
I guess
all right,
there's
Limax, thank you so much, sir, for
You're
coming.
very welcome.
Great. For the listeners, if you're interested, there are a ton of really interesting and somewhat technical, actually very technical information in the show notes from Limax. He put all kinds of links and stats and all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested, check that out. And his notes are so thorough, they include a bibliography.
I had to do that.
Yes, Jesse nerded out to that. Like, no.
Well, I kind of wanted to remember where I got the information, and this is information that I used on Geo Gearheads. So some of it is a little bit out of date at this point, but it's, for the most part, GPS technology hasn't changed, and whether it be GPS, Baidu, GLONASS, Magellan, they basically work about the same.
Right. Now you're sounding like Daryl. I hear GLONASS and I think of Daryl.
Yeah.
All right, Doug, thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate it. We love your geekery and we love what you do. It's awesome. Jesse,
you.
yeah, thank you so much. The show chat room, you guys were awesome as usual. Thank you so much. And next week, guys, we are talking first aid. We did this show about 3 or 4 years ago. Chad, you may remember it. We did a first aid discussion with Montana CPR guy.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
remember him? Remember it, Chad?
Oh, yeah.
We're bringing him back. Bringing back
Awesome.
Montana CPR guy coming back. We're going to talk first aid, guys, because let's see what's changed in the past 3 or 4 years. Let's see what Montana CPR guy is up to, and let's see. We're going to learn, what you should have in your bag, what you should carry in your car. Maybe some simple tips and tricks about first aid. Keep you alive out there in the woods if, God forbid, something happens to you. So that's next week, guys. Chad, always a pleasure. Jesse Brown, beautiful as always. Limax, thank you so much, sir, for stopping by. And we will talk to you guys next week. So here's the closing of the show. Please join us again next week as we take your calls live every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, right here at geocachingpodcast.com/live. The archived video versions of our podcasts are available on our website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available on most of your favorite podcatchers. If you like the show, please head on over to Apple iTunes and rate, review, and subscribe. We really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, please subscribe to the show on YouTube, and don't forget to click that little bell to get notified whenever we go live. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for updates on upcoming shows and general geocaching information. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of our show. With tiers starting as low as $3, you'll get a ton of additional information, extra videos, extra audio, only available to our patron members. Guys, we listed this last week. We had the show with Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, the one-on-one interview. Oh my God, it blew up. Everybody loved it. It was a fantastic interview. All our patrons loved it. So thanks, guys. Please head on over to patreon.com today and subscribe. patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cashly, Logwork, FTF Geocacher Magazine, and the Max Huts Body Company. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make a purchase, you tell them GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week, so we'll see you next week talking geocaching, taking your phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones. We'll talk to you guys next week. We are clear. Boy, did I time that perfectly or what?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, nice on that. I love when I do that. All right, guys in the chat room, thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And we will talk to you guys in the chat room next week, guys. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys next week.